had this thing secretly. You know? The democratic process in Grenada. The power to have a radio station where you could pick up the telephone and call. Well, it seems that media house prepared to take on anybody. We don't know how long it will last, but we must guard it. We must give that media house and the other medias in Grenada that is prepared to stand up, give them support. It's very, very important for us. You see, unlike other countries in the Caribbean, Grenada had an experience. We mess around with Marxist-Leninism for 4.5 years. And if you understand the condition that existed in the 60s and 70s, almost every young intellectual mind was reading about Lenin and Engels and Marxist-Leninism because we were fighting colonialism and neo-colonialism and imperialism. So we was reading about it. And then we had a great orator come on the scene. And people followed him. But we saw, yes, they had a lot of good ideas. Yes, people was excited. Yes, the guns empower us. We had the gun. Yes, we read about what happened in Angola and Cuba and all over the world. And we were targeting imperialism, neo-colonialism. We wanted to get even with those who enslave us. But Grenada, unlike other countries in the Caribbean, experienced 4.5 years when our voice was taken away. Heavy manners was the order of the day. Dr. Japal ended up in jail. When they jailed Dr. Japal, a PRA say, not a PRA, a member of the supporter of Bishop say, we jailed the conscience of this revolution. They jailed Dr. Japal. They make one of the most powerful lawyers in Grenville in terms of his economic clout. Peace. Over 3,000 people were in prison. The Rastafarians shed a tear for them because they gave maximum support. Yes, caller, welcome. Oh yeah. They gave maximum support. They believe. Maurice Bishop deceive us. I hear a number of people talk about glorious revolution because yes, Maurice Bishop built an airport and I'm giving him all the credence. He masterminded the airport. He land plane in Gary Highway. I'm giving him everything because it started during his time. And I always ask those who are propagating a glorious revolution if the end justify the means. St. Vincent have a new airport, an international airport, albeit decades after. No one went to prison. Barbados had an airport before us, international airport. No one was in prison. St. Lucia had Iwano and VG. No one was in prison. Antigua had one. So tell me how the end justified the means. I saw children cry. Father in prison. I remember the 3 children from St. Andrews that was found in the woods. A woman said they covered mosquito. But they ain't covered mosquito. Maybe 200 mosquito on them. They're eating ripe green feed. And a Rasta take here, a Rasta woman take them and bring them in Princess Alice Hospital. The mother and the father was in the cold pen. I always ask this question. What caused us to be so cruel to one another? And I never called Bishop corrupt, you know. I said he was a criminal. Maurice Bishop, they follow the ideology. Marxist-Leninism, no one-manism. There was not about too much about money or pay. They made a lot of sacrifice of what they believe. But they were atheists. The revolution never condole, encourage Christianity. They say religion is the opium of the people. They stop it. Where is compassion and empathy and respect for the women they take advantage on? I've always asked my revolutionary brothers about the woman from the north, the women from the north that they put on the ground and walk on their back. But they don't have enough guts yet to tell me. But I believe they say, seek and you shall find. Knock the door. And one of them must tell me who walk on their back. And they did it because of the ideology. Come on! You want to turn back the revolution. Come on! He's a CIA agent. I tell you, before you resist anything, come on! You want to turn back the revolution. And Morris Bishop was on radio saying, if you say they say, Bishop say locking up the Grenadian fled to squeak. 3,000 Grenadians was in prison. I always take issue with Mr. Blaze. Kayako was very supportive of the revolution. And his bishop did not want to lose Kayako. So if Mr. Blaze had questioned him a bit, he might have changed. But Mr. Blaze go on in rocking chain Kayako and just rock. When the American come, he sing, bind us together, Lord, bind us together. Yes, caller, welcome.
Mr. Pierre, good afternoon.
Yes, my brother.
Yes, Mr. Pierre, the communists and sympathizers to the terrorists, they continue to spread the false rumors that the European was the one responsible for slavery of the Negro people. But Mr. Pierre, the truth is that, and I think they know, because one thing they both are specialize in is telling lies. It is a well-known and established fact, and they should be doing the research, that it was the Arabs, in fact, in the first place, Africans was the first set of people selling their own people into slavery. The Africans were selling their people to the Arabs, right? In fact, the European only came in later into the slave trade. And the Arabs, they used to castrate the men, the black men, and not only just castrate, they're taking out the penis as well as the testicles. The information is there. And the statement that they made, again, well documented, they said that the Negro nations are, as a rule, submissive to slavery because Negroes have little that is human and possessive attributes that are quite similar to those of some animals. Mr. Pierre, it was the Europeans who stopped slavery, stop the slavery of black people and turn around and fight against the Arabs, the Muslims, right, to stop the slave trade in Africa. In fact, the last country that stopped the slave trade in Africa, an Islamic country, it was in 1981, right, Mauritania. So all this propaganda, it is a matter of they don't believe in God, so they want people to hate Christianity, hate the God of Christianity, hate the Jewish people. It is a deliberate plot to mislead people. But my advice to every one of us, like the scripture tells us, cursed be the man who put his trust in man. We have information at our fingertips today. Do your own research. Do not put your trust in man. The communists infiltrate the churches, the universities, all the institutions of learning, and the intention is to brainwash people, right? So do not put your trust in man, be it a priest, politician, or whatever it might be. Put your faith in Almighty God. Seek wisdom and knowledge from Him. Do your own research and find out the truth. Have a good day, Mr. Pierre.
Yes, we, as a people, we have to stop the blame game. Slavery abolished long enough. We have to do better. We have our own university, and throughout the Caribbean, we have black leaders. A simple situation like what is happening now in America. Donald Trump said he's sending back all illegal people by the hook or by the crook. If you don't go back, he say ISIS will take you. And if the country don't want to accept you, he put in 25% tax on you. And I call on our people, our historians in the Caribbean, our journalists in the Caribbean, the University of the West Indies and our governments to encourage our Grenadians, Jamaicans and Trinidadians and Guyanese, CARICOM nationals, come back home. If you are illegal, come back home. If it's a criminal, we go put you in jail in Grenada or in the country you come. We have enough space for you. And we must discourage CARICOM nationals from going into foreign countries illegally. And we must discourage our young men from going and joining the British Army. That will make no sense. And our nurses from going and work in England. Discourage them. You can't stop them. And that's the beauty of it. We have freedom of decision in Grenada, in some sense. Discourage them. Show them. When you are a young man between 18 and 30, I think that is the age group that is accepted in the military. That is the age group that is more powerful in sports. That is the most dynamic potential energy in your country. Young people between 16 or 18 and 25 or 30. When a man reaches 30, he tends to resign in sport. When a man reaches 30 in boxing, he might get some more coffee in his job. By that time, he's supposed to make money. You have to fade out. That is your greatest potential human energy. You want them in your country. If older people want to go, they have arthritis and none may go, let it go. But you want to discourage that age group. You want to tell your children that is not the age group for you to go and fight war for Britain and the imperial power. That will make no sense. And then our university and some of our intelligentsia asking for reparation. How could you justify that? You're sending your best potential energy to go and develop England and America so you could ask them for reparation money? That don't make sense. It may as well you leave this potential energy here to develop your country. That is why Grenada and a lot of countries in the Caribbean development has been slow. We have made a lot of headway. When I compare Grenada and CARICOM countries with the developed countries, we have done well. Eric Williams said when we get independence, the British suck us dry like an iron skin. But they promise not to damage the skin. So starting from that point, we have achieved well. We have done well in sports. Academically, the University of the West Indies ranked in the top universities in the world. We have done well in music. Reggae is, I don't know how to put it, in the national archives of some heritage or what. I can't speak that language so good. But it's well recognized in the world. Calypso and all the other genres that come from Calypso. We have done well. We have some of the greatest spokesmen in the world. So in terms of that, we have a small country. In terms of economy on the scale of economy of scale, we don't have a war machine. But our country have done well. If we were able to keep our greatest potential energy in Grenada, my God, Americans might have flocking in Grenada. It's flocking in St. Vincent, Trinidad. We in the Caribbean have to call out to our greatest potential energy. We don't need US aid. And if you have any doubt about aid, go and read the book, how the other half dies. Go and read the book, How the Other Half Dies. We have to encourage our potential energy to remain in Grenada. What is our potential energy? People between 16, 18 to 25, 30. That is when a man have alley fire. That is when man hot. That is when man have powers. That is when people go to the army. That is when they will walk on electric wire if you give them a chance. They bold. So some of them will be dead, some of them going to die, but they're fearless. We have to keep them here. Money is not a problem. Grenadians have money. Why do I say that? We are the biggest landowners in the region, and I would not be surprised if it's the whole world. So we have a piece of land to rest our head. A lot of Grenadians are not paying rent for where the house is. In local parlance, we say family pig. You don't have paper, or your grandparents are the land, and they can't put you. We have 100,000 people with 68,000 registered vehicles. Some foreigners, when they come here and they see the quality of vehicles we have here, they can't believe. Some Grenadians that go away long. When they see our women dress here, they have winter boots in summer. They can't believe. We have discretionary income. What we need is to rechannel that energy into business and progressive issues. Stop crying. Everyday crying. Prime ministers are all crying. They cut out US aid. Say, thank God. We only depend on people aid. We have what it takes in Grenada. You have families with a lot of money. The economists in our country have to encourage families how to invest in venture capital. Instead of having money when you're dead. Sparrow said years ago to buy a car from big like Hilton Hotel. Better you have $500, $1,000 venture capital for your children in secondary school to open business. Well, sometimes I wonder what happened to bright people. When you go to university, you don't go to university to come back to be a commission agent for the multinational corporation. You come out from, you highly certificated, you need to come back to your country and think how to improve. Yes, caller, welcome.
Yes,
my brother, welcome.
Yeah. To be on airline the time when I heard the Prime Minister telling Colin Dover, I think he's supposed to be a dean of the St. George University, that $3,000 is more than a minister pay, and he there sit on the Prime Minister don't know how much a minister working for. And Colin Dover should tell him, no, that's not true. Because must know, he can live in Grenada, he must know that the minister's salary is. Yeah. And I see, I in YouTube, I see some about 2 of the 2 mega projects, and they say some Caribbean government is jealous of the Prime Minister because they put the issues by that project. I don't go project because to be honest with you, I don't see no that because they say they don't start nothing yet. So I don't know who had put up that thing and who trained for to do that on YouTube, this propaganda and them. They don't stop this thing because you can't set up and try to brainwash people there. You try that in 2020, you get through. Don't come in this mama give something again. They're not working them time. Tell them boy, mega that don't think there's no way in Grenada. So I don't know who is the person who not affecting. And you last call you had the mention about don't listen to people like you said to people relying on trust God and trust whatever thing. But he just quotes from what people say, you know, that the African slave one order and this and that. He quoting from an next person's book. What he cross quoted, he didn't know he was wrong. He didn't know any 7th century. He just what he believed. He just believed that there is something there for him. And some 2,000-year-old white man come from the sky and call him and go up in heaven. He believed that. To believe is the absence of knowledge, the absence of fact. The reason why people believe they don't know. So he just believe that, so he can't put the belief on people. Hold on to his belief. So take him to Piano.
Yes, my brother. Those subjects are interesting subjects. We must not back down from it. We don't have to agree with one another, but we must discuss the issues. It's very important for us to be a thinking people, for us to be asking questions. We cannot accept everything lob, stock, and barrel. Yes, color punch.
Hey, good afternoon, Sophia.
Yes, my brother.
Sophia, as someone who went to school, and I think everybody who went to school, and they know it study history, you have to remember with the Great Triangle. The Great Triangle that started from England to Africa, Africa to the West Indies, and West Indies back to England. I'm saying when I hear some people talk about slavery, they want to accuse the buyer, but not the seller. Right? Who sold the slave? Not the slave, not the people in Africa, not Africans. They sell the slave to the white people, and they know the reason why they sell the slave. You just like to come and say, "What? See, I want to buy some people for the child. When I buy him, he will be working. He will be he will be working as a slave, and you as a person still sell your child. So how now? Some of we people want to blame the seller, blame the buyer, but not the seller. Right? You have to blame both persons. You can't blame the person who buy and not the seller. The white people buy slave from the Africans. Right? So when I people talk about this white and black thing, you know, sometimes I ask myself a question. Even if they don't know the history. So if you want to accuse the white people, you have to also accuse the black. Right? Because I don't really focus on this slave thing. Right? But I want to focus
This
on
topic is good topic to discuss, you know.
no,
Go ahead, go
topic,
ahead.
right?
Can you stick on it without coming
What
out?
is going on?
Yeah. Call him and to call back. Call back. Those topics are pretty interesting. I always reference them, discuss them, and I look at how they impacting us here today. What is the impact of these issues today? We have what it takes to make a difference. Our forefathers wanted to control the factors of production. Yes, scholar, welcome. Yes, scholar.
Good afternoon.
Go right ahead.
Good, good afternoon. I wanted to ask your opinion on a matter.
Don't
There's
listen to
very
your
different.
radio. Just speak on the phone and not to listen to your radio. Okay?
So I wanted to ask you. Okay. I wanted to ask you your opinion. You hearing me?
Yeah, don't listen to your radio. Just speak. We're hearing you. You have a delayed broadcast, so.
Yeah, this is calling from overseas.
Yeah.
I wanted your opinion on the attempt by a permanent secretary to question the Public Workers Union's decision to increase the fees. Because this is the first time I'm hearing an attempt to question one of the most democratic institutions in any country, which is the Public Workers. And what went into the permanent secretary's mind to pen and sign her name next to it? I find that very, 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 very strange.
Well, I don't think it's
And something come to my mind where you said when the American have a cold or cough, we just catch a cold. And I'm assuming that attitude of Donald Trump have no regards to the institutions has spread to Grenada.
No. Color, what's going on with Donald Trump have nothing to do with what's going up here. What is
This is my
happening
opinion.
here?
This is my opinion.
Okay, Color.
So don't try to tell me. What I am saying is that it is very unusual. That seems to be an overreach by the permanent secretary to write the public organ to question the democratic process and arriving at decisions. Now, they could have used a different route. The individual, you can go on social media and you could ask questions, but for you to sign an official document questioning the Public Workers Union's decision to increase the fees, that scares the hell out of me. As a Grenadian, I have never heard anything like that. So blatant. So the permanent secretary, I don't know if she's acted individually or she acted on advice. But I will think that the previous permanent secretaries will never put a pen to something like that. I'm talking about people like Lana McPhail and all these people, and these people, permanent secretary. No, I want your opinion on that, because that is scary to me. Thank you.
All right, thank you. One of the challenges we have in Grenada is people don't understand when you're supporting a political party, you have to examine the political party. You would have, I heard somebody ask that this morning, you'll never get that from NNP. NNP had a lot of trade union leaders among them. The NNP party always attract trade union leaders. And if NDC have 2 trade union leaders, they're leaving them before the turmoil. So we selected a bunch of political neophytes. They introduced restorative justice. And they have an agenda we call poor people terrorists. We describe them as vultures. What do you expect from them? You would have never get that under NNP. The trade union leaders in Grenada found NNP very comfortable to function with based upon the trade union philosophies. But they always did, even those that didn't like it and they joined up NDC, 2 days they leave NDC. They said that do good. You forget Chester Humphrey? He said, the workers say, Chess, you encourage us to vote out the job. Chess lie down in front vehicle, everything. He realized NDC doing good. So this group of individuals does not understand. They don't have knowledge. They are political neophytes. They set up restorative justice. That is political vengeance. And because the Public Workers Union leaders seems to be showing some little token of resistance to them, they're hitting back. That is vengeance. You go see the rippling effect of that throughout the country, where people want to get even, where people practicing vengeance. We selected political neophytes. You can't take all these people who never had any experience in managing a country and vote them to run country. Remember, the NDC was led, or they were seriously influenced by the Prince of Hate and the most fractious motivational speaker in our country. What do you expect? Yes, caller, welcome. Go right ahead, caller.
Yeah, I was saying, like 2.5, 1 or 2 years and 8 or 9 months, this government, this NNP governance, NDC governance, and so many promises were made to the people of Greater Caribbean people Martinique. Some of the people that fought for the promises they were working, and they were promised permanent job. No one will be going home, right? They promised also increases in salary, right? And the government will care about them, and they will put health care first on the front burner. Because when you look at what is going on in our country, instead of our country go forward, our country reversing fast. Like you look like a Bilaka, and you can go forward only back alone you going. Back alone you can go. So but this is what going on in our country. A government that made of 500 and something $1 million in treasury. The money done. They say the money done.
Color, you didn't see how they jump up and whine when they say get the money.
Yeah.
But what you expect them to
They
do more than
jump up
spend the money?
Yeah, they're glad.
They're glad. They do like never see come see, you know. They jump up, they whine, and they start to spend money like wind.
Money. I'm saying, look at what is going on in the country. You know, people catching the hell under the government. Right? People that was working,
Some
the government
people.
send them home.
Some people.
Because they may attend, they say winner any.
Some people.
In the election.
Some of them in Ghana. Some of them in Saudi Arabia.
They send them home. Right? They send them home. They had a train to go to school. The food to buy. They train the parents at home. Both father and mother they home. And they turn it back on the
Color, you think NDC checking on school, they have garbage on the playing field. They dig up the playing field in St. Patrick for no justification.
Look at the situation. Look at the Caribbean where they put in training in the hot sun.
They're not checking about that, man.
Right? They get 180.
Why do you think we call them public terrorists?
And NP negotiate and put aside for when a disaster. Where the money gone? Right? Where the money gone?
Gala.
Look at what's going on now. Election now. The election might become the end soon from now.
No, man,
What about
2 years
the
ago.
same set of people that they sent home? They're going to come and bribe them with money. But I call upon you, the poor people of the Caribbean Diplomatic, for fall for the promises. Right? And you the home now. If you give money, take it. When they can come, go and vote them out. Because you cannot be abused by a man for 11 months. And when it's only 12 months of the year, you want to buy a nice ring and a nice dress for you. And when December month, when January comes, more abuse. No, you deserve better than that. You deserve a government that cares, a government that loves and want to lift you up from the ground. But this present government, they only lift up them. Head by Prime Minister, you only lift up his friend, his family, like a family reunion. Only the family they care about. While the poor people looking and seeking and in need the government to help them, the government turn it back. But the election coming, it will come back to you and promise you. Take the money.
Sometimes they succeed again.
And vote them out.
If the lies this time is more fantastic and fantabulous and yes, you see, we as a people have to ask a lot of questions. And I think sometimes we're supposed to be mature politically. So we have to ask, what is the cause? What you're going to do? How you're going to do it? We accept certain things, lab, stock, and barrel. The Prime Minister say you get Greenlet truck to pick mango. Persuader is an agriculturist all his life. Half of his life is spent in agriculture. He's spending the next half on the commodity boards, and you're in the third half of his life now. So you don't joke the Prime Minister and tell him not to say that. You will get Greenlet truck after 4 in the evening. Which company that have a truck after 4 going to give you to go and pick mango and to get up back 8 o'clock in the morning to use that truck again? The Prime Minister of a country said that. The man said you get a net and collect all the seaweed in the sea. So Postletter couldn't joke him and said not to say that. This 300% increase in Postletter salary, he even stops in Calypso. But that is a challenge we have. We selected a bunch of political neophytes. One of the biggest, I think the biggest motivation that they hate Kit Mitchell. And why? Kit is successful. And you call that political envy. Kit is successful and they were not successful. So they develop a whole set of envy, and they decide to go in a lab and sit down and plan how to woo the majority of Grenadians. Remember, Black Wizard said inside NDC full of NNP. So they sold a package to individuals who should not support NDC. Yes, caller, welcome.
Finny, I'm the voice of one crying out in the wilderness of Grenada.
And that helped the democratic process.
For Caricon Pitimatnik. You know, Senior, when you make reference to the Prime Minister said that he will get Green Lake Chuck after 4 to go to pick mango, it's laughable. And that is Cartoon Network, Yabba Yabba Do. But you see, during that period of time, Prime Minister Deacon Mitchell looked at each and every one of us who claim to be Grenadians as a bunch of fools, as a bunch of stupidity, as a bunch of illiterate, a set of people that have no sense because he is a corporate lawyer. So when Deacon Mitchell made all these statements, there are some people indeed and in fact that he hold. But from then to now, Deacon and Miss Mitchell realized that he had underestimated the intelligence of the Grenadian people, and that will cost him the next election. And when this Prime Minister wanted was to get into office, he said the things that he know after he feel the pulse of a lot of Grenadian people. He already know that he have them where he wants them. So he deceived them. And I will never forgive him for that. You deceived the church. You said morality is a private thing. You lied to the young people. You said that you is going to make them prominent, sir. You lie. You know the promises that you made. You know you will not be able to keep that. Right now, Mr. Deacon Mitchell, you as a young man made Grenada a laughing stock, but the West Indies and you make us a laughing stock. In other words, Mr. Deacon Mitchell, he is the only Prime Minister in the history of Grenada, Carriacou, and Pitimatic that make we Grenadians shake hands with dogs. Thank you.
One of the challenges, and I think we have to spend a lot of time on that, and sometimes I blame NNP for that too. When Deacon and his group was making these outrageous promises to Grenadian, the NNP was not forceful in their pronunciation and saying, you lie. That is impossible. You're deceiving people. I always ask when Deacon started this issue, who are the trade union leaders that are advising Deacon? Because the trade union in Grenada is very powerful and very strong. So every political party must or should have some trade union leaders advising them or counseling them. This group of NDC don't none, except the teachers union that promoting classism and encouraging them to fire public workers. When you look at the NNP, they had solid, recognized trade union leaders, well integrated in the nucleus of the party. And even the trade union leaders that perhaps didn't like them so much, was comfortable with them. You could go back and check the history in Grenada. From Michael Pierre and D-Borg, Clarice and Chester, all of them is NNP. Or they was supporting the NNP policies. They might have had difference with the party, but it was okay with the policy. The NDC never have that. And these individuals introduced restorative justice. And from day one, I've been saying that restorative justice, workability, Maurice Bishop, practicality on the ground, application, implementation is nothing but political victimization and vengeance. Yes, scholar.
Good day, sir.
Yes, my brother, welcome. You come down about 50. You come
Sir.
down in midweek position.
Yeah, I could change position sometimes.
Well, I know you're versatile enough. Punch.
I want to say quickly, Mr. Pierre, right now, I'm afraid to see where he's heading. I spoke to some Grenadians yesterday, and they were saying to me, they realize that the government is making a lot of mistakes, but afraid if they cry out, they won't get a job. That is
Well, they're not wrong.
sending a very good message. By people saying they want to criticize the wrong things. You have a gentleman that may even want to call your program, but they offer him something to do.
Well, I tell them don't call. I tell people, young people who work in government, if you believe in any way your job is at stake, don't call the program. You don't make no
That's
sense.
looking as dictatorship. I feel we're going back to a sort of dictatorship where Grenadians are scared to make comment of situation. I know under the past regime, Grenadians could say the worst thing concerning Dr. Mitchell. If they have to get a job, they will still get it. I could testify that, you know why? NNP is a party of inclusive government. They don't care who you are. This is why all these people today who say they leave NNP was in NNP, because NNP open my arms to anybody once you are a Grenadian. And this head of state we have now have no respect for the people of this country. So I'm saying it to Grenadians, whether you like our present political leader or not, you have no other choice, Grenada, to put back Grenada on the right track. As it was, Grenadians, you have to vote out this administration and vote an administration who has the capability of running this country and who give account of where our money is going. We always get account. This is a government that could speak about accountability and transparency. NNP, not this present one. So I don't know. Some people telling me, once I eat enough food, I don't care. And that I kind of getting fright. Once I eat enough food, I don't care. Grenadian was not like that. People, we had to look at that and do and try to vote in the right government for Grenada to be back on the right track. I thank you.
Yes, I just want to add that the NNP have a history of managing things. They have the capability. They have the experience personnel. They have the regional and international reputation. They have a solid group of experienced elderly people. And I believe that people will be more comfortable if you want to make a positive change to go with the NNP. I make no bones about that. This group of vultures we have there, that is poor people terrorists. And they don't know what they're about. And they're greedy. So we are compounded and we gamble When we selected all these political neophytes, we gamble. And when you gamble, you take risk. We took a bad risk and we failed. So you can't blame NDC alone. No. You have to blame yourself too. Even if you didn't vote for NDC, but maybe you didn't speak out enough to convince other people that this party do good. I've always said to people in recent times, the last 2 years, that I see NDC as a disease, as an infection. I saw them in 1990, and I listed some of the things they did. In 2008, 2013, this is the worst form of any government that comes. We never had a government that has been associated with so much acts of corruption. We never had a government that telling lies. So, we lie more in harsh strategy. Yes, scholar, welcome.
Mr. Pierre, good afternoon.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Pierre, I would say troubled, baffled, stunned by what is taking place with the Public Workers Union and the government. Public servant for 34 years, 229 days.
You wasn't there in the days of when Sandy for them then. When they wanted to take over the Public Workers Union.
No. I'm not too sure.
If you said 34 years, he wasn't there.
Mr. Pierre, I can recall vividly that when they had the issue in the ministerial complex with the mole, workers were called out. They reported to the complex, but no work was done. There were other issues where they picketed the ministerial complex. There were cases when there were solidarities with the other unions. Something with the Public Workers Union, Teachers Union joined, TAU joined, and everybody, they support them. I can recall days when they were on the street, parading. They were not happy with the then, whatever it was, with the then administration. And I am wondering now, Mr. Pierre, why is it that union dues are being deducted and not being paid to the union? That is dues from the workers not being paid to the union. And the union not calling out the workers and say, well, your dues are being deducted and we haven't received it. Why is it? But you know what? I always hear people saying, the longest rope have an end, and every prayer have an amen. Is this the end of Public Workers Union rope? Is this the amen to their prayers? Because we're not hearing them. They're in talks now. They want to talk with the administration. They want to talk it out. But before that, it was action. There's an old saying, what goes around comes around, and be careful, little mouth, what you see, and little feet, where you go. Mr. Pierre, have a good evening.
Yeah, I think people have to understand the bind that the union got themselves in. And nothing is wrong with union openly flaunting political parties. Nothing is wrong with that. Unions do that all over the Caribbean. I think unions always have to be powerful enough to seek the union interests. But the unions in Grenada have a history because of social status. If you know, go back, way back when, the Public Service Union, that time it was more CSA, Teachers Union, they tend to align more with the NDC government, or GNP and NDC. Because they believe because of the nature of the job, they're in a different social status. Eric Gary makes some inroad in it. The revolution would have damaged it too. When the GNP, when the first NNP come, but the NDC has resurrected privilege, words like privilegencia are better than you. So the unions again gravitated towards NDC because they believe they're in a higher social strata. But there was no union leaders among NDC. Yes, caller, welcome.
Pierre.
Yes, my brother.
Good afternoon.
Yeah.
I listen to callers and they and like they point for strike, you know.
What do
They
you do?
want they point for strike, they want the union and get together to strike. But let me tell them, Mr. Pierre, when the union and them strike, you know who feeling the most? The poor and vulnerable. The people of this country feeling it more. They don't the politicians nothing. So let them go ahead and strike if they want to strike. The people take out, the people fight, ask the people they want to pay more dues. And the people say no.
How you know that? How you know that?
They want to increase.
How you know that?
In Jews, they want to increase. They want the people pay the union more money. I increase the one.
But that decision is not the government own, in all fairness. I don't know what this government getting set up in that for. That decision is not theirs. That is a union decision.
Not the union, the people decision is for paying money.
The government are not saying that.
If they don't want money coming from the side, more money, then what they pay already. What they do?
No, that's a union decision. The union have their general meeting and they take a decision to increase union dues. And if workers don't agree, they have to deal with the union, not the government.
Well, the government was taking it out.
The government are not saying that.
Who taking it out? The government was taking it out. Them people want to come out and they say no. If they stand up and they say no, if the government can't take it out.
No, the government are not saying that. The government have to give the union the money. But again, I think what happened that the government don't know about union. They don't experience. That's what I tell you. The government is political neophytes and they're arrogant. They can't let the prince of hate guide them. They should go and ask Clarice Charles, Vira McQueen, Michael Pierre, some of them all you, Chester Humphrey. Ask them union czars. You can't go and ask the prince of hate.
You heard the silence them union already?
No, man, they can't silence you. Union powerful. No, they can't silence you.
They silence them.
No, color. Nobody could silence you union in this country. Union powerful.
Union silence right now.
No.
When you see they bringing this pension, the new pension law, the union silence on that.
The union go wait 5-6 years and giving government the court and government lose again. And
well, if they bring union in court, if they bring the government in court, and the court rules it unconstitutional, the NNP is unconstitutional too. So
and NNP have to, when the NNP come in power, they have to get more into treaty again.
So what I say, if the union say, the court rule that this law unconstitutional, the NIS will be ruling unconstitutional too. So you will be having no pension scheme in this country.
Yes.
So what union them talking, they're talking nonsense. They silence them already. Only thing they could talk about now is how much increase they will get in salary. And if the government decide again 0.5%, they can't do nothing.
All right, thank you, caller. Thank you. That is the last call for the day. I think it's unfortunate and sad, and I'm sorry for the government, to be very frank with you. You don't have to get involved in that. And it's to tell you the level of arrogance that this government has. The union have been sympathetic to you. So what you going to look for trouble for, they know? Trouble you're going to look for. Because the union is powerful. The union could make you giddy when they're ready. The union leaders that they are very sympathetic towards you. And they're trying to get you to have. And I think the biggest challenge, we have a government that is so disrespectful. They don't know better, but they're arrogant. You know, I call them vultures. One gentleman called them poor people terrorists, and I will agree with him. Master deceiver is the worst thing that happened to our country. The country was on a good plateau. The last 2 terms with the government was of a very high standard. You couldn't point your fingers at any member of the government in the last 2 terms and say they did bring the government or the political party to disrepute. They were very frugal and humble in their approach. They interacted readily with the press. They cut down on traveling to a minimum. And then you have this government that come that squander the public funds. It kind of sadden your heart, you know. It's really unfortunate and sad, you know. And that's the challenge we have, and we have to sit down and see how we could solve this problem. And I always say to people, when these things going on, there's a lot to learn from it. Grenadian must not make this mistake again. When you vote in political parties, you must try to make certain that the political party is going to seek your interests. You look at the history. You look at the capabilities of the people involved. You look at the experience they have. You look at how humble they are. And you determine that I'm not gambling. I put in my vote where it counts. You know, we want to always thank you for participating in our program, particularly those who call. We have some people who listen readily. The people on radio, a lot of people listen to us on radio. What you call it, terrestrial radio? Very important for us. And Real FM, that's the radio station that they want to close down and jail people in the north and etc. Because we provide the information for you and we do our utmost to bring the truth to you. And you could always challenge us if you don't agree with us. Thank you very much.
Foreigners have recommended it highly, hand in hand for a better land of people who can understand that business brighter out of darkness.